Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh sa ating mga kababayan sa Pilipinas at sa mga kababayan natin nandito ngayon. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. So sa mga hindi familiar or sa mga hindi nakafollow sa akin sa social media, allow me to introduce myself. I am Kio Moreno and yes, the most bashed DDS supporter. Kalaban lahat, okay? Even the pro, even some pro Duterte supporters are bashing me. I don't know, maybe because I'm so handsome, or maybe I have a very good smile. But they are just jealous. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm here in front of you today to talk about the confidential fund of VP Sara. Okay, in 2022 to 2023. A year utilization. It's not actually a year of utilization, just a few months of utilizing the confidential fund. The Office of the Vice President has incurred 125 million of confidential fund. Okay? But let us compare it to the Office of the President. The Office of the President in 2022 has 4.56 billion confidential and intelligence fund. Okay? Now, to understand everything, I actually spoke about this yesterday. So to those who are not around yesterday, let me just reiterate this for you. VP Sara, if you guys are unaware, she has the most roles or siya yung may pinakamaraming posisyon sa government natin in 2022. Firstly, she is the duly elected Vice President of the Philippines, right? 32 million people has voted for her. And the 32 million mandates is actually the highest ever recorded in the Philippine election history. So si VP Sara nakakuha nun. And at the same time, she was also appointed as the Secretary of the Department of Education. And on top of that, she is the Vice Co-Chairperson of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. And as you can see, during that time, she already had 3 roles: Vice President, Deputy Secretary, and Vice Co-Chairperson of the NTF-ELCAC. But because nakita siya ng Association of Southeast Asian Nations, siya ang naging President ng Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization or the CIMEO. Sa lahat ng education sector sa ASEAN, siya yung President. Diba? So, she had 4 roles. Now, upon taking her role as the DepEd Secretary, VP Sara discovered these numbers, okay? Take note, maging factual tayo dito kasi baka i-fact check tayo ni Rappler. Number 1,
ang mabait na
1,871 unresolved child abuse cases reported from 2019 to 2020 with incomplete data from 10 regions up until the 2022. Imagine 1,871 child abuse cases sa Department of Education. In addition, 20% of Filipino children ages 12 to 17 are internet victims of online sexual exploitation in 2021, affecting an estimated number of 20 million children, and the basis of this is the Interpol and the UNICEF study. That's the second report that VP Sara has received. Then, 12.3% surrendered rebels were minors ages 12 to 17, with 16 public high schools in Metro Manila involved in recruitment activities of the New People's Army or non-NPA. And over 5,000 drug-related incidents and 6,000 gangsterism violence involving minors in the Department of Education. So sa nakikita ninyo, maraming problem about threat and security sa Department of Education. To answer this or to resolve all these issues, VP Sara created the Child Protection Unit or CPU and the Child Rights in Education Desk, a government-wide approach to safeguard the children's right. She created that in the Department of Education. Second is the Learners' Rights and Protection Office or the LRPO and the Learners Telesafe Helpline, ensuring that safe learning environment and immediate response to abuse cases are responded immediately. And to perform that resolution of the conflicts or problems that are happening in the Department of Education, VP Sara needs confidential funds. And that's exactly the reason why she requested confidential funds in August of 2022 from the Office of the President. It is not VP Sara who released the money. It is the Office of the President. And who is the President? Bongbong Marcos. When was the confidential fund released? December of 2022, just 15 days before December 31. So December 15. But of course, we are a bureaucracy. The Philippines is a bureaucracy. You need to do more clearance para makuha mo yung pera, right? And it took the Office of the Vice President, it took VP Sara 5 days to complete it. And that's the reason why she only had 11 days to spend the confidential fund. If you trace the history of that confidential fund, it is not the problem or it is not because of VP Sara. It is because there are problems in the Department of Education that needs to be responded immediately. 1,871 child abuse cases, that's human rights abuse, right? And bakit ang nakikita natin ngayon, VP Sara is being persecuted just by resolving the unresolved problems or the perennial problems that the Department of Education is facing. Nakakahiya po ang Marcos administration. Now, binaboy nila ang Office of the Vice President 2022 to 2023 through the series of hearings conducted in the Quadcom, in the House of Representatives. They illegally detained the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Vice President, Attorney Zulaika Lopez. They harassed the OVP employees and they were legally intimidated. And all of this because despite the demolition job that they are doing to the Office of the Vice President, to VP Sara, the Commission on Audit or COA released their audit report tagging the Office of the Vice President and DepEd with unqualified opinion or highest audit rating for 3 consecutive years from 2022, 2023, and 2024. Imagine that. They are very unsuccessful of painting VP Sara as the villain of the taxpayers' money because of that confidential fund. Now, if you ask, why is VP Sara not responding to the hearings or to the series of hearings conducted by the Quadcom? This is because VP Sara is prohibited to do so. Why? There are laws or there are legal frameworks that prohibit the Vice President to divulge publicly the utilization of the confidential fund. Because pag dinidiscuss yan ni VP Sara, pag sinasagot niya ang mga katanungan ng Quadcom, VP Sara will be facing multiple cases of violating the Graft and Corrupt Practices Act of the Philippines. And this is why VP Sara is not responding at all. What VP Sara is doing is she went directly to the Commission on Audit, provided all the documents the Commission on Audit needs, and as a result, the Office of the Vice President and DepEd received the highest audit rating for 3 consecutive years. Palapagan po natin si VP Sara. At kung hindi niyo yan na-realize, that is transparency. That is accountability. But because the Marcos administration and the House of Representatives through the leadership of Martin Romualdez were unsuccessful of putting a good vice president down, they started initiating the impeachment case. And sa nakikita nyo naman ngayon, the impeachment case was archived. Considered is as dead. Because again, at the end of the day, VP Sara is so transparent about the utilization of her funds. Hindi lang siya nag-stop. They stripped off the budget of the office of the Vice President. Ginawa lang nilang 700 million. And 700 million, sinsilyo lang yan. It's just a coin, right? Compared to the 4.56 billion confidential and intelligence fund of Bongbong Marcos na hindi natin alam saan ginamit. And up until now, there is no discussion as to the utilization of Bongbong Marcos Confidential and Intelligence Fund. Why VP Sara needs the confidential fund? This is because in 2023, nung hindi niya sinunod ang utos ni Martin Romualdez na makipagsabuatan siya sa corruption sa DepEd, hinaras ang family niya. Her children were under, casing or surveillance ng PNP. Yung bahay ni VP Sara, pinuntahan, hinahanap ang mga anak niya, what time lumalabas sa bahay, anong sasakyan ang sinasakyan, anong kulay ng sasakyan, and what time umuwi. And they are forcing the president of the HOA, Homeowners Association, to tell all those information. Bakit ang iniimbestagahan ni Bongbong Marcos ang vice president niya? Why is he not investigating the recruitment cases that are happening in the Department of Education? You see the difference of the priorities of the president and the vice president? VP Sara asked for the confidential fund because she really wants to resolve the problems happening in the Department of Education. She wants that the projects and programs of the Office of the Vice President are implemented well through surveillance. But Bongbong Marcos is using his confidential and intelligence fund to what? Do surveillance to the Duterte family. How is that sound? Diba? Nakakagalit. Okay. Nakakaputang ina? Correct. Diba nakakabobo? So ngayon, yan yung story about the confidential fund. Now, sa nakikita natin ngayon, actually the reason why you're here is because supposedly today is the confirmation of charges of Tatay Digong in the ICC, correct? Now, I would just like to remind every one of you that Duterte's battle or Duterte's war isn't for himself. Duterte's war is for the Filipino people. Para sa mamamayang Pilipino, para sa ating lahat, para sa next generation. Bakit? I will give you the context of what I'm saying. Before Tatay Digong became the President of the Philippines in 2016, he received a report. Again, may mga reports yan. According to PIDEA, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, 92% of the barangays in Metro Manila were drug affected. Again, 92% of the barangays in Metro Manila are drug affected. Metro Manila pa lang yan. 26% of the barangays nationwide were influenced by illegal drugs and shabu. That's the report he received in PIDEA. Now, to continue that, Tatay Digong launched the very controversial war on drugs. And I know exactly that you guys are aware when he launched that. And this is because 1.8 million of Filipinos in 2015 are drug users. Again, 1.8 million drug users. And that means 1.8 million crimes. Imagine how heavy the report was during Tatay Digong's time. And 88% of drugs, as according to the PIDEA, 88% of the drugs PDEA confiscated in 2015 were all shabu. Yan yung reason bakit ginawa ni Tatay Digong ang war on drugs. And for you guys, of course, you would ask, is it legal for Tatay Digong to actually implement that? Yes. Why? Because according to the 1987 Constitution, Section 4, Article 2, the purpose or the reason of the President is to really serve and protect its people. Saan tayo pinotektahan ni Tatay Digong in 2016? From the hands of the 1.8 million addicts in the Philippines. Section 5 of the 1987 Constitution talks about peace, order, and the protection of life and liberty. The war on drugs is actually all about that. Tatay Digong wants peace, he wants protection of our lives, and he wants order to the country. So he implemented the war on drugs. At kung nakikita ninyo yung mga exhibit na yan dyan ngayon, may pipe dyan itemizing all the accomplishments of Tatay Digong about the war on drugs. And kanina, may copy pa tayo sa brochure dito. Doon yung makikita na the war on drugs is very successful talaga during Tatay Digong's time. Now, ang sinasabi ng media, especially Rappler, ang sinasabi ng mga kakampings o yung tinatawag natin mga kakampota, 27 to 30,000 people were victims of Duterte's war on drugs. Okay? Now, let us fact check that. Alam nyo ba na may kasabihan tayo, di ba, na numbers don't lie. Hindi nagsisinungaling ang numero. Pero, ang tanong dito is, kaninong numbers ang hindi naglalay? Okay? Ask yourselves, kaninong numbers ba? Is it the numbers na nakikita natin sa media? Or is it the numbers na nafe-feel natin? Or ganyan? Or yung mga recorded numbers ng government? Kahapon, we were shocked because the International Criminal Court prosecution team formally charged Tatay Digong of 3 counts of murder and attempted murder as crimes against humanity. Ang first count ng murder na pinahil sa kanya is noong mayor pa siya 2013 to 2016. The second count of murder is the so-called high value targets during his presidency in 2016 and 2017. And the third murder case officially filed against Tatay Digong is yung sa barangay clearance operation, yung sa mga tukhang. So yan yung final nila. Now, 3 counts of murder and attempted murder cases filed against him. And ilan yung mga tao na involved doon? 49. So nasaan ang 27,000 people? Nasaan ang 30,000 people na inuulit-ulit ng mainstream media na binabalik-balikan ng kakampota? Nawala. Now, if they are really confident about their numbers, why are they not using the 30,000 victims of the war on drugs to actually convict Tatay Digong of crimes against humanity? Because the truth is, they have no factual basis. Everything that is currently happening in the country is politically motivated. The reason as to why our former president is currently detained in the ICC, it's because of Marcos politics. Tatay Digong is very influential in the Philippines. His daughter, Vice President Sara, received the highest mandate ever recorded in Philippine election history. And now, they want to weaken the political base of the Duterte family. They brought Tatay Digong. They illegally detained him in the ICC. And they harassed the office of the Vice President. They filed impeachment case against VP Sara because ang mga Duterte ang balakid sa pangungurap, sa pangkokorap to the money-making scheme or the corruption that is happening inside the Marcos administration. Again, balikan natin yung numbers. 1.25 million is nothing compared to 4.56 billion confidential and intelligence fund of Bongbong Marcos. The 700 million budget of the Office of the Vice President is nothing compared to the billions and trillions budget that were used for the ghost flood control projects. So sino ngayon ang totoong problema ng Pilipinas? It is not Tatay Digong. It is not VP Sara. It is the Marcos administration. Because they are so scared that if Tatay Digong is still in the Philippines, he would be able to influence more people to listen to the cause that he is advocating for since 2016. Bongbong Marcos promised us continuity of the projects and programs, continuity of the legacy of the Tatay Digong since his presidency in 2016. What he gave us is bullshit. We expected change. Ibang pagbabago yung nakita natin. Imagine, he is supposed to invest more in the infrastructure projects in the Philippines. But this administration is investing more on AIX, on AKAP, on Ayuda. And you guys are here working hard every day, sending money to the Philippines. And you guys are actually our present-day hero. Why? Because you contributed so much to the GDP and the economy of the Philippines through your remittances. Do not let the Marcos administration use you. Do not let your taxes be used for inutil Marcos administration. Nakakagalit, nakakapagod, but at the same time, nakaka-proud na despite all the legal harassments that the Duterte family is facing, despite all the political persecution that VP Sara is currently experiencing in the Philippines, you guys are here, the taong bayan is here, showing their support and believing that at the end of the day, there will still be change in the Philippines. May pagbabago pa rin tayong makikita sa Pilipinas at ang pagbabago na yan ay makikita lang natin sa mga taong totoong nagkikipaglaban sa taong bayan. At hindi yan si Marcos, hindi yan si Romualdez, hindi yan putang inang Zaldico na yan, but it is Vice President Sara Duterte and former President Tatay Digong who is currently detained in the ICC. Sa lahat po na nandirito ngayon, actually I cried earlier. Alvin actually was talking to me if I'm okay or not because I'm really emotional. Say for example, you guys are working, right? And I know exactly that you filed leave or you did, sign a waiver for you to be out from work today just to be here. And you are not getting anything from us. You are not getting anything from the Filipino people. You are not stealing their taxes. You are paying taxes. And it's the Marcos administration that is corrupting the taxes that you guys are contributing to the Philippine economy. Yan yung intindihin ninyo lahat. You may not agree to everything that I am currently saying, but we can agree sa part that the Marcos administration is the most corrupt administration in the Philippine history. Some of you here may hate me because patola ako sa mga bashers ko online. But the thing is, I am not here for my bashers. I am here for the release or for the freedom of the former president who saved us from the hands of the criminals and terrorists that is destroying the Philippines. Free Duterte now! Bring him home! Free Duterte now! Bring him home! Free Duterte now! Bring him home! Ano pa? So yun. So, yung sinabi ko kanina, you can fact check that. Yung mga numbers, yung mga numero na sinabi ko kanina, I researched about it before ko yan sinabi sa inyo. So, okay lang yan. If you want to share it with other people or if you want to make a write-up about it, it's completely fine. It's already fact-checked. So, save kayo dyan. Okay lang yan. But ito din yung panawagan ko sa inyong lahat. Huwag po tayong mapagod. An 80-year-old man is currently detained in The Hague. believing that he could still change the Philippines. Huwag tayong mapagod. VP Sara is currently facing multiple lawsuits from the Marcos administration kung ano-ano na lang, and the recent one is the impeachment case. But VP Sara continues to do her duty as the duly elected Vice President of the country. He still continues with her projects and programs that are currently being implemented in the office of the Vice President, because VP Sara is showing you public service. Yan ang katotohanan. And the truth about the country now is we are being robbed. Our taxes are being robbed. There is this floating information now in the Philippines saying that the Marcos administration is not really galit or not really angry with the Duterte. They are just using the Dutertes because they have the influence, they have the supporters, they have the following in and out the country. The Marcos administration is galit or angry with the Filipino people. Galit siya sa ating lahat. Galit sila sa ating lahat. Bakit? For 36 years, hindi natin sila pinabalik sa gobyerno. For 36 years, hindi sila nakapagpangurap. So ang ginagawa ng Marcos administration ngayon, they are bleeding dry the government's coffer because that is their exit plan. You should realize that. They don't care if they can still win in 2028 and the next years coming. What they care about is malikom nila lahat ng pera ng taong bayan so that they would be able to control all the businessmen and the politicians and our leaders. That is galawang oligarchs. That is galawang oligarko. Yan yung intindihin niyo lahat. Nagiging punching bag lang si Tatay Digong, nagiging punching bag lang si VP Sara because sila yung figures na kumukontra sa money-making scheme of the Marcos administration. The resignation of Martin Romualdez is nothing but a PR attempt. The resignation is just to calm down the emotion that as if the Marcos administration is doing something to fight the corruption in the country, when in fact, they're not doing that. Bongbong Marcos is the enabler, the biggest enabler of Martin Romualdez. He signed the 2025 most corrupt budget of the country. He did not scrutinize well the blank spaces in the bicameral report, and he didn't even care if the enrolled bill is unsigned. So lahat ng pera from the budget insertions na ginawa ni Martin Romualdez and ni Zaldico, nanlikom nila or na-corrupt niya because this is because there is a president who enabled them. And who is that president? The putang ina mo, Bongbong Marcos ka. Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Marcos resign! Marcos resign daw, putang ina mo. And yeah, before I end my speech, okay, I'd like to say thank you for your presence, for the time, effort, energy. I know you guys are very busy, you are swamped with workloads. I know that you are coming from different backgrounds, different families, and different, jobs. But you are here today spending your time standing with the Duterte, shouting, bring him home and free Duterte now. Yun lamang po at magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I am Tio Moreno. Thank you so much.